This is Slim Reaper Beats.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Perfect.
You ever been we talked about this in the chat earlier. Remember we was talking about this earlier where what I ask? Oh yeah, you ever been spooned before?
Yes, I have. Many a times.
Many a times, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it's an odd feeling, like
I will
felt-
say, yeah. I will say it's different the first time you do it, but it's really nice.
it is. It's nice to be a little spoon sometimes. Or we still consider the big spoons because we're
No, the little is always the one getting caressed.
so caressed.
Yeah,
That's what we're getting caressed in the middle of the night in our
that's
sleep.
what we're calling it. Yeah, but it feels nice.
It does feel nice, right?
Yeah.
Like I got spooned the other night, and it was low key the best sleep I got in like weeks. Now, mind you, I was only asleep for like an hour and a half because I had to get up and pee.
Hmm.
But it was nice.
That's all you need. Just to fall asleep. Once you're asleep, whatever. But at least to fall asleep.
But I was already asleep, and then she just like,
Oh,
yeah, and then I was just like, and then next thing I know, I'm asleep for like 90 minutes, 90 some odd minutes, and then I wake up and I have to pee, and I'm just like, yo, I hate to do this to you, but yeah, you gotta take your arm back. You know what I mean? Like, and then when I came back from the bathroom, she was rolled over. I'm like, oh, come on. And
now you gotta assume your position.
yeah, I did. It did. They didn't last long though, because the alarm went off like maybe 45 minutes later.
Oh, that's the fucking worst.
Oh, it's the absolute worst.
I hate waking up right before the alarm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was one time I woke up like an hour before, and I was just like, fuck it. Like, why am I going back to sleep? Like,
Oh no,
I
me,
just
I
stood
need
awake.
I need every second cap. Remember,
Because the thing is, I wasn't that tired. Like I could have like stayed up. That's why, like, if I would have tried to go back to sleep, it would have been like trying to go back to sleep. I was already awake. So
like you were up.
yeah, I was up when I went to use the bathroom, and then I came back and I was like, nah, let me just whatever.
Nah, for me, I'll turn over or look at my my cable box because it obviously has a time on it, and no matter how much time is on that clock, I'm going back to sleep. It could so I get up 5:30 every morning, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 5 o'clock on the dot. I'm going back to sleep for those 30 minutes.
For the 30 minutes.
Yes,
It'll-
even if
The only time I will do that is if my alarm goes off, I wake up and I'm still fucking exhausted. Because I always give myself a little bit of a buffer so I could just sit up and, actually wake up. But if I'm exhausted and my body's just like, no, I'm gonna sleep that extra 25 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It makes a difference. Cause how many times do you hit the snooze button, if at all?
I don't.
What?
No, I don't have a snooze button. Well, I mean I do, but I don't do it. I don't trust myself. I don't snooze. No, I don't.
I don't believe this. Natalie.
You can attest to it. Once I wake up, I'm up.
And I'm no.
That's why I said the only thing I will do is I'll put another alarm for whatever, like 30 minutes or whatever, if I got the time, obviously, which I normally do.
Are you one of those people that got like 17,000?
No,
alarms?
absolutely not. No. I have different alarms for different times I have to wake up because every day is different. So like, yeah, it's weird. So like so sometimes I work at 11 o'clock and sometimes they'll ask me to come in early to do like overtime because they need coverage. So I'll come in early. So I'll have an alarm for that. I'll have an alarm for my regular time to wake up. And then when my kids are here, I have an alarm to wake them up. And
Okay,
then I'll
that's
have I have a nap alarm, which is anytime like during the day.
a
And
nap.
then yeah, it's like I'll change that one. That's the one that always changes. Like depending on whenever I have time for a nap, I'll take it and then I'll put an alarm so I don't oversleep.
Oh, child, the ghetto.
But yeah, no, I don't have a set of alarms that I go through every day. You know who does? My wife.
Of course she does.
And
Because
I
of
don't know how
course,
she does it.
uh, how many alarms? Does she got like what, 5, 6 alarms, 7, 8?
Something like that.
Yeah, same over here. She's got like 10 alarms. I'm just like, why don't you just use one alarm and just hit the snooze button? Because you can set the snooze time. It's not like
Yeah.
you know, you can hit it
I
like set it like 5 minutes. Mine's set for like 9. I don't know why, but I think
9
9
minutes?
minutes. 9 minutes instead of just to square it off and make it 10. Or maybe I should lower it because I feel like 9 is too long anyway.
Mm,
But yeah, I was just like, why don't you just, because I have 2 alarms, one for my regular schedule and then one for my days off if I'm gonna go to work on my days off. You know what I mean? That
yeah.
one I just turn off every now and then because like today I didn't work overtime today, so I turned it off and I woke up like around 8 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my regularly scheduled program 5:30, even 5:35. But then it has a 9 minute snooze, so it's like okay. And I hit it like I try to hit it no more than twice because no,
I feel like it's not enough time for me. Like can you adjust it to whatever time you need?
um, you mean like the snooze or the alarm
Yeah,
itself?
the snooze.
I can. Let me see if I can. I
I
think I
feel like you
can.
should be able to. Because that will actually make things a lot easier instead of me having to set an extra 30-minute alarm for when I'm just exhausted.
See something. Edit. Oh wait, wrong one. I think I can. I know I could turn it off and on, but how to set the time itself, like the amount of
Like
snooze
how
time?
much time?
Snooze time. Hmm. I don't know if I can. Let me a quick Google.
That is weird. Why wouldn't they let you do that?
Snooze length iPhone. Open the clock or snooze duration to change the snooze length on an alarm clock. iPhone alarm.
Oh,
Open the
I can
clock.
change mine, yeah.
Open the clock app. Which I did. Select the alarms tab. Or create a new one. Then
Riveting content.
yeah.
But yeah, I can do it.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to really look into this because it's letting me choose the turn it on or off, but it's not telling me how. Letting me like,
Change how long?
yeah.
That's very odd, but it's very iPhone.
But it says you can.
All right, figure that out later. we we're in the middle of something. Um, but yeah, I try not to do that though, just because I feel like I end up being more tired anyway. So
It's a
once I
s-
have my coffee though, then I'm good. Like I just got to get to that point.
it's a whatchamacallit, it's a delicate balance because it's like okay. It also depends on what time you go to bed and
Oh
how
yeah,
good your sleep is because I feel like I don't get enough good sleep, but that's also my fault because I don't know how to go to bed on time.
me neither. I have a bad habit of staying up late knowing I have to wake up early. Like this week, for instance, they called me in 3 days in a row to come in early. And when I come in early, I gotta wake up at around like 5 o'clock. So, um, but because I get home late, I wanna like, relax, eat, whatever. And I end up going to bed at like 12.
Oh no,
knowing that
yeah.
I know it's bad. And then I have to get up 5 hours later. And I did that for like 3 days. And then yesterday I came home and I was off today. So my body, it was already like 11 something. I was just like, I'm exhausted. Like I have to go to bed. Like I didn't want to go to bed. I don't have to go to bed, but I had like my body was telling me I had to. And
So
let me tell you, because I lost so much sleep during those 3 days, I slept a full 12 hours. It was like 11. I fell asleep a little bit after 11 and I woke up almost at 11.
you know what? I can attest to that because um remember was it a couple of weeks ago we had that crazy heat wave?
Mhm.
Um, you know me, I I
Terrible.
I'm a field nigga, so we was out there in the sun, working, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And I was coming in 6 days a week. I did 6 days a week, like 2 weeks in a row. And then that crazy rainstorm that we had, not this
Oh,
past
yeah.
week, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I had to stay at work for contingency,
How does
and
that work when it rains? Like, what do you do? You just
so
gotta work?
no, it's basically for emergencies. Like, if a
Okay.
tree falls down on the tracks, we gotta go cut it down and get it out the way so that way we can get service moving again.
Yeah.
If certain stations flood, we gotta make sure that the tracks are still good, that there's no blockages and anything like that. Um, if people drop stuff, which happens a lot, it happens every day. Also if basically stuff like that, emergencies, contingencies, things of that nature, especially when it affects because concerning weather, because where I work, we have a lot of the
Yeah.
um open cut lines where it's just like trees are hanging over the track and stuff. So the
Oh, yeah.
wind and the rain knocks it over and this, that, and the third, and it just becomes a hassle. So I did all that, and then I was off on Friday. I was supposed to work, but I told my boss, I was like, nah, I'm not
Not
happening, bro.
feeling it.
Bro, I got home like 11 o'clock the night before, and I did the same thing. I slept till like noon that day, that Friday. And I was just like, yo, I haven't slept till noon in like years, even.
Yeah. Well, not for me, it hasn't been years. It's been a while though. Like I don't know what it is lately. I've been waking up, even on like on the weekends when I'm off. I wake up at like 8, 9 o'clock. It's so weird. I don't like it. I'm not a morning person.
Me neither. I'm not a morning person. I mean, even when I was working nights and I didn't have an alarm, like that would to me, it was just it was amazing because I was like, when I would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would just be happy because it's like, yo, I woke up on my own. I didn't have an alarm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that was the only benefit to working nights, just sleeping in during the mornings while everybody's working and not having to sleep with an alarm. That was it. Wouldn't do it again though. Not at
Yeah,
least not
no,
my
it definitely takes a toll on you.
oh,
I do
that's
want to mention we are roughly 14 minutes in and we haven't even done the intro. So,
true.
I mean, welcome back to the Excuse Me Brother podcast, all that stuff that we usually do.
They don't miss
But
us.
Brother Tay is not here, but
Yeah, really, he's
he
not here.
he's adventuring. He didn't tell us. He told us like the day before.
Right. This is what he does. He goes on his wild adventures and then comes back and reports it and
Yes.
all the crazy stuff that happens to him.
Yes, because for some reason he just attracts all ridiculousness.
I mean, yeah, he is Mr. Ridiculousness.
Well, yeah, he welcomes it. I
Yeah,
will say that much.
he is with all the shits. So it's like, I mean, it is what it is.
It
He
is
goes on
definitely.
adventures, you know, but we wish that brother safe travels.
Yes,
And
indeed.
when he comes back, he will definitely tell us about his misadventures.
Does he will have some.
And know he'll have some. Did he say what he was doing down there?
I know he's going to Florida. I think he said for a wedding. Let me see. Because he literally told us Wednesday night. And it is now Friday.
Right, like
Engagement party.
an engagement party
Yeah, so not even a wedding, just an engagement party.
for who?
I don't know.
Oh, well, he's gonna enjoy himself down there because Florida, you know how Florida is.
Yes. Especially this time of year. Because
Exactly,
it's hurricane season.
exactly. Down there in Florida is just, I mean, it's madness all year round, but hurricane season, forget
It's the
about it.
worst. Yeah.
It's the worst. Speaking of down there, you know
What's
who's down there, down below,
the devil?
and he's got a new friend.
Oh. I was like, where are you going with this? Damn. Okay. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Hulkamania is dead, brother, dead, like literally.
Hulkamania is dead.
We should have spoke about this a long time ago when it came out, but scheduling conflicts
Yeah.
prevented this being talked about sooner. But we have thoughts and opinions. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
interesting that Tay is not here because I feel like he has a lot of thoughts and opinions on this.
I'm sure he does.
So, as we all know, Terry Bollea,
Mhm.
also known as Hulk Hogan, has passed away at the age of what, 78, 75? How old was he?
Something in the 70s. It wasn't anything like too deep in there. I want to say maybe 71. Hold on. Or maybe 72.
Maybe 73.
Maybe 73. He was 71.
71?
Yeah, 71.
That's it?
Yeah, not that old. I mean, considering,
I
the
could have sworn
life.
he was older than that.
No, he looked older than that, but that's probably because of all the freaking drugs and steroids that he did
Well, how
back
many?
when he was younger.
So, we all know Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, was probably the most popular. He's probably the most popular wrestler of all time. Would you say that?
I wouldn't say probably he is. He
He,
is the most well-known wrestler. Like
the most
people when the most iconic. I mean, you can probably put like maybe a Ric Flair in there or a Rowdy Piper or John Cena, but Hulk Hogan, everybody knows Hulk Hogan. He was at the freaking RNC. Like,
Oh yeah, that's right. Avid
yeah.
Trumps.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that. But yeah, the fact that he was there just shows the level of stardom he had reached.
And I mean, he's tragically passed away due to cardiac arrest. He went into cardiac arrest in his home. Ambulances were called. They pronounced him dead at the scene. This, that, and third, right?
Mhm.
Um,
He had recently gotten surgery
right.
right before that.
I think he had what neck fusion surgery or something to
Yeah,
that.
cervical fusion surgery.
And people were saying that he got some sort of throat infection from it or something to that effect. Am I right?
So it's actually funny that like we recorded this now because I think it was either yesterday or sometime this week. Supposedly there's an investigation now because there is a possibility that his death was due to medical malpractice.
I did see that. I saw that
Yeah.
earlier today. I did see that.
Yeah. I don't know how valid that is or like how much there is to that. I
Mhm,
know complications from surgery happen all the time, but
mhm.
to say that it's due to medical malpractice, that's a big accusation.
Big.
And that's, I mean, whoever his surgeon was, like, I hope he's prepared to fight because he's gonna be in for it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, first of all, any surgery at any age is carries its own inherent risks.
Yes.
I mean, like I've had 2 operations in my life, and the first one, because my first surgery was not that long, but it took so long for the anesthesia to wear off that they actually had to wake me up in recovery.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Now that I remember that the call it propofol. That's the stuff that they use to to sedate you. That
They use
stuff,
a bunch of different stuff, but yeah.
right? I think I personally believe if my memories serves me correctly, I was administered propofol both times because I asked, like, "What are y'all giving me to knock me out?" And I think they said propofol was either the main one or the only one. I don't remember, but I remember it being propofol because it was milky white. That
Mhm.
stuff is strong, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you are out within seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've seen it work, like, firsthand. Like,
bro, oh,
I work in the OR, so I see plenty of patients who are literally awake 1 minute and within 30 seconds are, like, hunched over.
right.
Like, because
Hey,
that thing works.
dude. So of course, and that's actually the stuff that killed Michael Jackson. Like he died of a propofol overdose. So yeah, that stuff is real strong.
It's very strong, it's very dangerous in,
Very
like, mass doses, so you have to be very careful. And
exactly.
it's funny that you say that you were, it took a long time for you to wake up. I've seen patients who take long time to wake up, and because usually they're supposed to wait for, like, before, like, when the surgery is over or whatever, they have to wait until the patient is at least up. They may not be coherent or whatever, but if they're up, if their eyes are open, then they can start the process of, transferring them to, um they know where they're gonna be at or whatever. But, yeah, if sometimes it takes long. I've been there for, like, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes just waiting for them to wake them up, and sometimes they don't wake up, and they have to wake them up in recovery, and
Both times I've woken up in recovery, but the first time they had to wake me up, and it was like 5 o'clock in the evening. My surgery was at like 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
what probably happened is that you woke up, but, like, you went back to sleep. That happens a lot. So, you probably don't remember, most people don't remember, like, the process of, like, going in and then coming out,
What
but,
going just after going into the operating room?
yeah.
Oh no, I
Some
remember.
do.
I
Some
remember.
do. It just depends on, like, how much they give you and stuff like that, and what they give you, because sometimes they give you something different depending on what you're, like, allergic to and stuff like that.
Very true.
Um,
It takes it matters.
yeah, so you probably did wake up, but I don't know, maybe you didn't, and they just waited. I don't know.
It was that was 10 years ago, so I don't remember exactly everything, but I do remember going into the OR room because I actually had to walk into the OR room with one of the OR assistants. They put me on a table. I looked at my arm and they administered the propofol, and then the next thing I know, I was waking up like they were waking me up in recovery.
So
Um,
weird. They don't know exactly, like, what happens during that process.
what do you mean?
Like, they have obviously assumptions and stuff like that, but they don't know for sure what happens, like, when you go under, like,
Oh,
with 100% accuracy. Obviously, you become unconscious and stuff like that, but they don't know what happens, like, what is, because you say, like, you just remember going to, like, falling out and then you wake up. Like,
yeah, just
I
I think it's actually kind of designed that way because they tell you like, yo, you'll wake up in recovery and you won't remember anything. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah, that's actually kind of true. Like you don't remember, like the last thing I remember was laying on the table. I don't remember them. I don't remember getting moved. I don't remember nothing, just waking up in recovery. But
yeah.
tie all this into Hulk Hogan, right?
Mhm.
Um, like we said before, surgery at any age
It's a
carries
risk.
inherent risks. When you, especially for an older man, an ex-athlete who probably has a history of steroid abuse, you know,
Yeah.
and whatever else he was dealing with. I don't know if he was a big drinker or a big smoker or
I
if
mean,
he
he
did
had his
heroin.
own freaking beer company.
Right,
Real American beer. So I don't
right.
know.
So all of that stuff got taken into consideration, his diet, his metabolism, because that's another thing when you administer drugs like that, your metabolism, your weight determines how much they give you. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't have to explain it to you, but I don't know that medical malpractice thing. Like he did not recover from that surgery well,
No.
and that stuff it probably induced a lot of heart problems. And like we said, the years of steroid abuse, the years of drinking and whatever drugs he did, and this, that, and the third, and then just overall, a 70-something-year-old man's body, his heart is not going to be as strong as say you and me. We're both 32. Well, he'll be 32. Um,
Soon.
yeah, and that's just the way that it is, and unfortunately, it probably cost him his life.
Yeah, I think the issue is too because he's probably had a lot of surgeries throughout his life, and he probably just didn't really consider that, the older you get, the harder it is on your body, and he just he didn't think about that stuff.
And
But I don't know. I wouldn't say. I mean, it's hard to tell. We don't know much about what happened. I guess the only real thing that we can do, not we can do, but like his family can do, is just be honest about like what his post surgery care was like how was he reacting to this stuff, and because that was the issue too, because um nobody had heard from him for like a month after the surgery. But people were I mean, people close to him were saying, "Oh, he's fine. He's recovering. He's gonna make his way back. He can't really talk because of the surgery, but he's recovering." And they were basically like running defense for him, which I get because he's a public figure. So you kind of have to like maintain that image for like
oh,
sponsorship purposes and stuff like that. He was affiliated with this new startup wrestling promotion that was supposed to be happening. Um I think it was next month or maybe later this month. I don't know. But he was supposed to be part of that. So you don't want your biggest star to be like, in dire straits or being like seen as less than. So I can get why they would lie to that, but at this point they probably should be telling the truth and being honest about what was happening to him post surgery, because that's the only way we're going to know for sure if this actually is something worth investigating. But regardless, I mean, like you said, like after everything that he's been throughout his life with all the, not just like the drugs and the alcohol and all that stuff, the physical toll. He was a wrestler, like, and he was a wrestler during the time where like they were wrestling like 300 days a year. So it was physically taking a toll on his body, and it's honestly a miracle that he lasted this long, because there's a lot more people who died younger
that's true.
than and did less.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I mean, let's discuss let's discuss his legacy a little bit.
Okay.
Remember a couple weeks ago we had this conversation in the chat, and it kind of sparked a little bit of controversy amongst us, or a little bit of debate. And I said that there was a post about WWE's Mount Rushmore, right? And I said that Hulk Hogan has to be on it, and it
Unfortunately, yes, I
yeah,
agree.
unpopular opinion, but the way that I feel is like Hulk Hogan, as much as and we're gonna get into the controversies and stuff later, but as much as we dislike some of the things that he's done because of his controversial stances, the things that he said, his backstage politics, wrestling, you cannot tell the story of WWE, let alone, well, you can't tell the story of professional wrestling at all without Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? It's just the way that it is. Hulk Hogan is a sports American icon. Like it's Hulk Hogan is apple pie, American flag, baseball, and Hulk Hogan. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's
Like
up there. Yeah.
he's up there. Like everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is or was. And we can't just erase that fact just because, you know, whatever controversy he's been embroiled with. And a lot of our favorite wrestlers hold him in that same stance, unfortunately.
Yeah, they
You know,
do.
you
I
you
I
can
wouldn't I wouldn't say unfortunately, because like, they wouldn't have a job without him. So it's like,
uh,
you
true.
have to you have to give him some credit for everything that he had done for the business. And what's unfortunate is just everything that came with. See, that's the thing too, because like, during the whole steroid trial and stuff like that, Hulk Hogan made it a point to differentiate Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea. He always embellished stuff.
Glad you
What's
said
that?
that. I'm glad you said that. Go into that,
Yeah,
please.
so like, Hulk Hogan, during like the court proceedings or whatever, he would say that, he would always embellish all this stuff, the 24-inch pythons and all that stuff. Like, that was part of the character, the persona of Hulk Hogan. But Terry Bollea is just a regular guy. Like, he has his own beliefs, his own stuff like that. It's all separate. So I think that's what a lot of people need to. They don't need to do, but they probably should do whenever there is talks about like the Mount Rushmore or like wrestling in general and stuff like that. Like, you can say it's similar, although not as bad, to the Chris Benoit conversation.
Mm.
Like I said, not as bad. Mostly because Chris Benoit, like, outside of wrestling, who the fuck was he? Like, in wrestling, he was like, he was a trailblazer, but outside, who the fuck gives a shit what he was outside?
Yeah, like he
But
was like his a family deleter, or
well, yes,
that's the term for that. It's called a family annihilator. I did not know this until I
Family Annihilator. What the fuck?
family annihilator. Yes, someone who does what basically he did. Like
Never heard
unalive,
that term before.
you unalive the wife, the kids, and and then yourself. If you
Well,
if you know, I mean, think about
yeah,
it, you take the entire family, which
yeah,
is what he did. So,
that is exactly what I did. But I mean,
but to touch on Chris Benoit a little bit and to differentiate it from Hulk Hogan, unfortunately, as unfortunate, but maybe as warranted as it is, Chris Benoit and what he did outside of the ring, namely that because we didn't really know who Chris Benoit was outside of the ring,
mhm,
but unfortunately his family deletion is his legacy.
yes,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? That is that's what we know him as
that's
instead
what
of
most people know him from.
exactly instead of his insane in-ring talent. You know what I mean? His 20 years in WCW, ECW, WWE, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, all that gets overwhelmed by what he did to his family and then himself. Hulk Hogan is a little bit more nuanced because the character seems to be a lot more bigger than the person, but the
That is
person
true.
is just like, wow,
Awful.
it's a person.
He is
Like
an awful person.
he
Like,
did.
and that's the thing too. It becomes a conversation, and that's what I wish more people would talk about. Is like, for example, like with Chris Benoit, what he did, like, outshined everything that he did in wrestling. And
Absolutely.
that's why whenever talks about like Hall of Fame inductions or stuff like that, like, whenever that topic comes up, everybody shuts it down because it's just not worth talking about because
Oh,
of what he did. There's no getting around that. With Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, you have like decades of,
of
at
body.
least on screen, of work and accomplishment and entertainment that he brought. Does that outshine what he did back in, like, what was it, 2007, 2008? I don't know. But I mean, that's up for debate. And but the issue is too, it shined a light into who Terry Bollea was as a person.
Right.
And
Now,
that's
politics aside, right? Politics
mhm,
aside.
I mean, yeah, politics is whatever. Like,
That's always hit or miss with an individual.
right.
Your friends might have political beliefs. There are wrestlers that we all know and love that differ, that have differing political beliefs.
I'll say right now, one of my favorite wrestlers is most likely a Trump supporter, but
Who?
I still like him anyway.
Who?
AJ Styles.
Believe it?
A Southern boy from Georgia? Of course he's gonna be a Trump supporter.
The Undertaker. Like he's an
Oh yeah,
you,
The Undertaker. That's another one.
bro. It's almost like Undertaker's probably the only person who ever gets a pass for this because he's also not an asshole. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's true.
Mark Calloway is actually a very nice man.
A decent human being. Well,
He's
as far as we know.
right, but I feel like if there was some issues with Undertaker or I should say Mark Calloway, then we would know about it by now.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
That was the
Other
thing too, because like with Hogan, there was plenty of stories of him
right.
being either discriminatory or just like straight up like an egomaniac, like putting people down, holding people back from achieving stuff, and that is part of what led to a lot of people kind of like associating what he believes as just, oh, that's just who he is, or like what he said, what he did. So that's just who he is because of all these other stories that kind of corroborate that. That's just who he is. That's who he's always been.
Right.
Where
Like
they're like, and that's not like, oh, like he just made a mistake, like he said, or like, I don't know.
no, we don't, bro, you meant that one. You know what I mean? You meant that. Like, I'll never forget, speaking of Undertaker, right? Undertaker gave the story about how they had their championship match, and I think it was 91. And Taker was like, oh, Hogan was like, just be careful when you do the tombstone, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
I'm a big guy, you're a big guy, this, that, and the third. And Undertaker gave him a tombstone. I think Ric Flair put the chair in the mat, in the ring, so that way Undertaker would land on it, this, that, and the and when you really watch the video of him giving Hogan that tombstone, you can see that his head is tucked very like safely in between Undertaker's
Yeah.
knees, and he does a tombstone, and then Hogan's like, "Oh, you got me, brother." And then they had the whole thing backstage where the ambulance came the next day, and Undertaker was really upset. He felt like he actually hurt Hogan and this, that, and the third. And he said it kind of ruined the rest of his night with his family. Like, yo, here we are. We won a championship. I'm out with my family. I can't even enjoy it because um I'm thinking about Hogan and he possibly actually being injured. And then he went back and watched it tape, like, yo, your head was nowhere near the mat, bro.
Yeah.
And he pulled up on Hogan ready to fight. Like, bro, like, what was that? And he was like, oh,
Just ribbing your brother.
it's like, bro, you really had me thinking that I hurt you and you go and pull this stunt? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's plenty of stories like that from many of wrestlers who were just like, I know Bret Hart hates the guy. Like literally, I think it was the day after his funeral, he was already back to talking shit about him. But
Between
in fairness, Bret Hart, he talks shit about everybody. So
Bret Hart, Bret Hart has that old bitter man mentality. Like, we get it. Your career suffered because of what Goldberg did to you, but hold that against him, okay?
yeah, right.
30 years ago, bro. Let it
To
go.
be to be fair, I do believe Hogan prevented Bret from getting bigger than he probably should have been.
When he's in WCW or
And no, in WWE or WWF at the time. There was
oh,
that whole thing at WrestleMania, I forget which one. It was the one where they were, like, outdoors. It was, like, one of the first outdoors shows
maybe
that they did.
maybe 13. I keep
Maybe. I don't remember. It was the one where Bret faced, Yokozuna
I
in the main
def-
event, and then he lost. Bret lost the title to Yokozuna,
Mhm.
and then Hogan came out, had an impromptu match, and pinned Yokozuna to get the title off and got it back. And the reason was supposedly was because they were going on a European tour right afterwards, and they wanted Hogan to wrestle Yokozuna on those shows, as the champion, and they didn't think Brett can do that.
Yo, that is some scumbag shit.
I'm telling you. Well, they said
Oh,
that, but like, I believe Hulk Hogan probably freaking
like
worked his way into that.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I'm
and
a bigger brother. I'm a bigger draw brother.
well, yeah, and then of course there was a whole union busting thing when
Mm-hmm.
what was it? It wasn't
Which
Jesse.
we talked about.
We
It was
did.
Jesse Ventura. Yeah.
It was Jesse Ventura. Okay, yeah. That is now speaking as a union member, like a member of a union. If I found out that one of my coworkers was trying to basically bust the union, you and me we gotta meet outside because you mess everything out. You mess
Well,
with
he
our
didn't
wage.
know until later on, right? We
I know,
talked about
but
it before.
if I'm finding this out now, me and you got problems forever because you messing with our wages, you messing with our health insurance, you messing with our retirement plan, you messing with our disciplinary proceedings. Like there's a lot that unions do to protect workers from management. And you see what happens with these wrestlers, especially during those days, they probably needed
Oh yeah.
union representation more than they need it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they would listen, wrestling in the 90s, in the 80s, and the 70s, when they took chair shot after chair shot and they had no doctors and no backstage medical team. You just popping pills and then moving on to the next city. Like, bro,
Yep.
what? And you trying to
It was
stop? Oh man.
it's all about the money. He felt like he could make more money, so
Yeah, but you can make more money if you can wrestle longer and healthier. You don't gotta take time off.
that's that's like a lower card mentality. Hogan was at the top of the card. He was already making more money than everybody else. So in his mind, he didn't want anybody reaching his level. He wanted
I,
to keep everybody down. That's what it was.
you sadly you're right. You know what really like so I had a warped review of Hulk Hogan when I was younger because like the first time like obviously I'm too young to remember well I was too young to remember Hulk Hogan in his glory days like in the 80s and the
Right.
90s. My first hint of Hulk Hogan was like in 2005
When he came
when
back. Yeah.
when he came back at WrestleMania 21 uh helped
No,
out
it
you
wasn't 21.
that was WrestleMania 21. Well, no, not well,
He came
uh,
back before that.
but he when he was part of NWO. But I'm talking about like after that because NWO was a whole different phase. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Talking about that Hogan when he was like back to regular Hulk Hogan,
Right.
and then he got involved with Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Because when I watched that match at SummerSlam 2005, I'm like, why is Shawn acting like that? Like, what's going on? Like Hogan's not hitting him that hard, bro. Like, what are you
It was
doing?
it was it was kind of like looking into the past because like that was how Shawn used to be. When he came back from his back injury, um he was like a completely different. Shawn Michaels is like one of those guys who had two like basically two careers.
Yes, he did.
And like they you can separate them and they're both hold up on their own.
Uh-huh.
And it was weird because during the second part or his second career when he came back, that match in particular, like, he was basically like the old Shawn Michaels. Like, basically, he was being a dick
Yeah,
because of Hogan.
but come to find out why. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like you really pulled some backstage cards and like because okay, everybody should know this. Well, if you're a wrestling fan, you probably know this, but they were supposed to have 3 matches, right?
Okay.
And I think Shawn was gonna go over in the second and third,
Yeah, he was
or
gonna win the feud.
he was gonna win the feud, right? But Hogan was like, "Nah, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Oh, yeah, that's a very iconic phrase in the wrestling industry.
That doesn't work for me, brother." And they just had 1 match, and Hogan went over, and the match was like that. Shawn's antics were more known than the actual match itself. Like
Yeah, that's what everybody remembers.
everybody remembers Shawn's antics. and come to find out why. And I was just like, oh, well, if I was Sean, I'd probably go into business for myself too that night.
Yeah.
Just for one
Fuck this
night.
guy.
Like, bro. And then Hogan disappeared again
Yeah.
for however long. So he has a very complicated history. And then of course the racism stuff pops up and it's just like, okay, yeah,
Not
now
to
we
mention, before we get into that,
okay.
Hogan also had a reputation for being a very notorious liar. He
Oh,
would just lie like through his teeth about everything.
bruh.
Stuff that he didn't even need to lie about. Like there
Yeah,
was a time where he said he was supposed to be in the band with Metallica.
right.
And even Metallica, the lead singer, I forget his name, said, "Well, I don't know what the hell he's talking about."
Yeah,
This was never talked
it's
about,
never
or it was never a thing. But
right.
Hogan just says stuff, and that was one of his like things. Like he's just a habitual liar.
And who was it that he said he hung out with after WrestleMania 3? Hold on, there's there was a list. I gotta pull this up. I gotta pull
Of
this.
Hulk Hogan lies.
Yes, biggest lies. Hold on, Hulk Hogan's biggest lies. Because there was some that was so egregious. It was like
Yeah.
bro. Okay, the absolute absurdity of Hogan's lies. Hulk
I
Hogan's
just look up pretty great. I'm sure you're looking at the same thing. He wrestled 400 days in 1 year because apparently he traveled from Japan to US and somehow it made it possible to wrestle multiple times in a day.
I remember that. Um, he said there was one that says Hulk Hogan rejected dinner invitations from Madonna and Cher, right?
Mhm.
And then he says,
I do know one off the top of my head. There's one that supposedly he was approached by the makers of the George Foreman grill,
yes,
and it was supposed to be the Hulk Hogan grill, but he passed on it for whatever reason. And then he went with the pasta maker machine or whatever. I forgot, and I forgot what it was called, but yeah, he was supposed to be the face of the George Foreman.
like bro. I found that one. Okay, it says he wrestled 400 days in 1 year. Says since he travels so much between Japan and USA, the time difference added up and it made it possible.
How do you how did he add 35 days just switching time zones?
Oh, not only Metallica but Rolling Stones too.
Oh, Rolling Stones? Oh, that's a new one. He said
Um,
he knew Elvis personally,
right.
even though he was dead before Hulkamania even became a thing.
Um, there's also one that says he claims that he fought Pride fighters in the 70s and Pride fighting wasn't founded until 1997. Yeah.
He
Um,
said he discovered Kevin Owens, apparently. I don't I mean, I doubt it, but
I mean,
yeah, you can look it up. There's plenty of instances where Hogan just lies just to lie because he's always in working mode apparently. But yeah, that honestly, that reputation of being a liar is why nobody freaking believes him when he says that he made a mistake or stuff like that. When he went on his whole apology tour, which he never actually apologized for anything that he said that was leaked in that video.
it's funny. Um, people were claiming that, oh, he gave his life to Christ right before he died,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was just like, congratulations, bro. Like, what? That erased everything. You still get
Apparently he believed so.
let's get into this whole racism thing for our
Yes,
first.
yes.
Yeah, I have opinions. I have opinions.
Yes.
You don't accidentally call somebody a nigga. You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? Like, it's not an accident.
There's no, yeah. There's no way that can be an accident.
I say nigga all the time. You know, I call people niggas all the time. It's never an accident. If I'm saying it, I mean it. But especially if you're gonna attach the hard R to it, bro, like there's a clear distinction. You know what I mean? Like there's a clear distinction. Number one, you use the other one, the one that's like, oh, that's how you feel. You know what I mean? So what was it, 2017 or 2015 that those tapes came out? When did
Um,
out?
I think it was like 2000s. No, it was probably like 2015. Because I
2015?
remember when he died on the 10-year anniversary of those tapes being leaked.
Yes, you're
Yeah, so it
right.
had to be in 2015.
Yes. Let me see when it came out. Yep, in 2015. You're right. It was whatever the day he died. Um, what was it? He died this month. It hasn't been that long. Um, whatever it was.
Good.
August 2015. Tape came out saying that he didn't want his daughter to date any black guys.
Yep.
He clearly, but he made it he said it in a racist overtone and started using some very foul language. Right? I
Yeah.
don't want to repeat exactly what he said, but you can get the picture. And rightfully so, every black person on the planet was like, yo, fuck
He
Hulk Hogan.
he said in no uncertain terms, he said, "I'm a little racist." That's what he said. Or he said, "We're all a little racist." That's what he said. He basically admitted to being a racist. Like there's no getting around that. You don't
His-
accidentally say that. That's
Thank you. You don't accidentally say that. The accident was that you got caught, man.
yeah. And
You
that
know?
honestly, that was his whole when he was on like the apology tour afterwards, that was what he was apologizing for or warning people for. Be careful. Yeah, be careful because you never know when you're being recorded and stuff like that. He's not apologizing for what he said. He's apologizing that he got caught.
Because he's not sorry. He wasn't
No,
sorry for what he said.
no.
He's not sorry for what he said. Like we keep saying it, there's no accident. It's not an accident. So it's like, okay, but you know what? I think a lot of rich white men feel that way, that I don't want my daughter dating some black guy. I don't
Yeah,
care how rich and powerful he is. I don't want her dating some N-word, some Negro. You know what I mean?
yeah.
A lot of them feel that
And
way.
you know what he said? He said if she's gonna do that, at least have him be rich. That's what. Yeah, that's what he would deem appropriate for
Uh,
her, for his daughter.
Now, Brooke Hogan, for all intents and purposes, she's not an ugly person.
No.
Like, as far as wrestler kids go, like she's actually one of the prettiest. Like she's the head and shoulders above Charlotte Flair. Like, my
Oh,
God,
yeah, yeah,
Charlotte Flair is ugh. Especially now after all these surgeries and her
yeah,
losing all that weight. Ugh. Yeah, she
yeah.
doesn't
I never understood why she got so much like surgery done to her face. Like if you look at back when she was in NXT, like she didn't look that bad. She was
exactly
okay. And I know
exactly.
some of it is also like the makeup that she does, but it's like still,
Yeah, now you look ridiculous.
yeah.
That doesn't hold up.
She looks like a drag queen. I'm gonna say right now.
Be honest, remember when she came back during the Royal Rumble and she like her costume barely fit her. You know what I'm saying? That's how much
Yeah,
weight. Like
yeah.
you can see the gaps. You know
It
what
was
I mean?
bad.
It was bad. But Brooke actually looked pretty damn decent. I was like, oh, because I actually used to watch their reality show. Remember they had a reality show like
Yeah, Hogan knows best. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it was her brother, and the mom. She looked just like what's her name? Uh what's their mother's name? What's his
Linda,
ex-wife?
I think it's
Linda.
Linda.
Linda. Linda Bolea, whatever her name is. She looked just like her. And I was like, oh, she's actually, pretty.
Mm,
She young white girl in Florida, this, that, and the third. She's not an ugly child. So she can basically pull anybody she wants. And how these honestly, let's call out is rappers, actors, ball players, they're gonna see her and be like, yo, Hulk Hogan's daughter? Word?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So imagine coming home or her bringing you home to her father, who is who you know just off the strength of his name. You didn't even have to be a wrestling fan to know who Hulk Hogan was. And come to find out he hates your guts because you're black. Like what?
And for people who think that this was just like an isolated incident, there was actually another incident where I think it was Nick Hogan, his son, got into a car accident, and actually like that accident killed the other driver. I think, or no, not the other driver. His friend was driving, and his friend became a paraplegic because of it. And he was, obviously he was in jail, and Hogan called him and basically was saying the same stuff that he said on the sex tape. Like he was using the N-word and all that stuff because
Oh yeah.
I think that,
See,
yeah.
what was he
And then
saying?
he was saying um that his friend, that maybe he in another life that he
Yeah.
yeah, in another life that he maybe did something really bad and that's why God is punishing him now. Like, bro.
He also said something to the effect of maybe in our next life, God will punish us by reincarnating us as black people or something like that.
Yep.
And it's just like, first of all, you like, how you gonna say something like that? And two, why would that be a punishment to you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the fact you think being black is a punishment? You
Yeah.
think that being reborn as a black person is a punishment? This clearly shows you what you think about us. Like clearly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And that this was just like I think it was like in 2008. So, just like a year after this whole thing happened. Well, when it didn't get leaked until later, but yeah, he was still saying that stuff.
So, like, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think that Hogan has been a racist his entire life?
Oh, 1000%.
Okay, I just want
1000%. Like, and that's going off the fact that like even back then, like it was very common to be racist. It wasn't like even a thought. So it's not uncommon to think that it would just carry through the rest of his life. Like he's very old school, so obviously he's gonna stay in his ways. So I don't think that was just like, oh, he was racist, but now he's not. Like, no, he's always been racist.
yeah, I agree. Now, what sickens me, right, or at least what sickened me, was all the black wrestlers and black people who were defending his
Yeah,
nonsense, and it was just
yeah. I
bro,
think the issue is when it comes to like this topic, there's a way to navigate it like the way we have. We right at the start, we acknowledge his accomplishments, acknowledge how much he's done for the industry and his stardom, while also acknowledging that he was a deeply, deeply flawed person that deserves the scrutiny that he's gotten. That's all anybody wants. But for some reason, and a lot of wrestling fans believe this, and it bothers me. Which I mean, it shouldn't because, I guess that's just how wrestling fans are. They don't want to do that. They want to merge the two and be like, "Oh, he can't like you can't focus on the racist part because he was a great wrestler and he made millions of dollars and he was an icon."
right, he did that for
You
himself.
can talk about both. Like there's nothing wrong with talking about both.
Two things can be true.
Yes. And that
Like
the same thing with like with the Chris Benoit stuff. You can admit both. Like there's no reason why you can't differentiate. I can do that very easily. It is not hard at all. But for
you
some
know,
people, they just can't do it. I don't understand it.
you know what it is. And unfortunately, I have to bring race into this, but I mean it's a racial conversation. But unfortunately, a lot of let's just call it what it is. A lot of white boys, right,
Right.
who idolize certain sports figures or sports themselves, right? Remember, sports is supposed to be a way to detach from society, so to speak. Let me
Yeah.
just be entertained for the next couple of hours just to pass the time or just to pass the day, or I really like this thing and it's not like my everyday life. Because think about it, wrestling is a fantasy. It's
It
theater.
is. It is.
It's
Yeah.
it's basically
It's an escapism. Yeah.
this is yes, it's escapism. And unfortunately, when we realize that a lot of the people that we idolize and hold in this high remember, Hulk Hogan is a character played by Terry Bollea, right?
Yeah.
Once we see that Terry Bollea was actually a terrible human being, putting on the mask of Hulk Hogan and saying, "We still see you, Terry," you know,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
bothers them because it's like, leave my Hulk Hogan alone. He's the only thing I have left for a lot of these white boys. And it's the
Yep.
same thing with other sports. Like when the whole Colin Kaepernick kneeling thing, they were like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
I just want to watch football. Why can't we just watch football?" You know what I mean? And it's like, no, the two are actually very much intertwined, and you really
Yeah.
don't. You know what I mean?
Just people don't want to separate it. They want everything to be one thing. And
Right.
whatever they view them as, that's how they want it to be.
How they
When
want to
that's
stay.
not the case. Yeah, that's how they want it to stay. That's almost never the case.
But it can't be the case because the person and the character, at least for Hulk Hogan, like you can there are okay, look, there are wrestlers who are their character, right? Especially
Yeah.
nowadays. Because remember way back when there was a lot of characterism in wrestling.
Yeah, there was a lot of people playing parts essentially. It
Right,
wasn't them, they were just playing a role on the
right.
show.
Back then that was back then. Nowadays, it's more so the wrestlers are being themselves, just a little bit more exaggerated, just a tiny
Yeah.
bit. You can tell, like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the rest of the Jacobs. I mean Jacobs, Jesus, the rest of the I know why family. That's who
Yeah.
they really are, though. Those are their personalities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jimmy and Jay, that's who they are. That's who Becky Lynch, she's playing herself. She's, all these guys are playing themselves. Back then it was more character. That's one of the reasons why The Undertaker lasted so long. He was played the character and played it so well that it's like, yo,
He
that's really
lasted.
he
Yeah.
lasted long. But Mark Calloway is we can separate Undertaker and Mark Calloway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we cannot separate Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea because Hulk Hogan is like the theme song says, I am a real American, right?
Terry was Hulk Hogan, and that's the persona. Because like the Real American Beer, stuff like that, that's not Terry Bollea that's endorsing it. That's Hulk Hogan. Like when
Exactly.
you look at all the advertise like at the RNC, they literally say it's Hulk Hogan. He never goes by Terry Bollea because that's not a marketable name. Hulk Hogan is a marketable name, so that's why he went by that. So he intertwined the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He, he brought Terry Bollea to Hulk Hogan and fused them.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
and we can't, so that's what I'm saying. When he puts on the mask, Hulk Hogan is like, yo, we still see you, Terry. It's not a completely different person. At least with
It's funny that you say the with the mask because there was a point in time where he wore a mask and he went by Mr. America.
I remember that
And
very
everybody knew it was Hulk Hogan, obviously. That's
uh,
a good metaphor for this because it's literally like you're masquerading as somebody else, but clearly we know it's still the same person.
exactly. At least I use Undertaker as an example because at least when he put on the coat and the hat, we knew that we got the dead man. We didn't get Mark Calloway. We got the dead man.
And
But
also he kept his private life private. It wasn't
right,
until like within the past few years that all his like personal stuff started coming. Not personal stuff, but like he started opening that door to
right.
being because he would never do interviews. He would never like do backstage stuff, all that. He was that
Character, yes.
exactly, and he did that for this very reason.
But you see,
But
again,
Hogan didn't do that. He did
But-
the opposite.
but it also just boils down to the fact that Mark Calloway is a way more decent person. They have the same political beliefs and ideologies. They support the same things. They root for the same things. America first, military, Donald Trump, and conservatism and liberalism is bad. It's just that Undertaker is not a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's not an ass.
Yeah, you can have like different political beliefs while still being a decent person. Like I know people in like my personal life who are decent human beings despite what they believe in their political views. Like, yeah, we could disagree on that. That's fine. But if they're a decent person, it's like whatever. Like I don't care.
Right. Unfortunately, Terry or Hulk never got that memo. So, and I feel like because a lot of these wrestlers don't see that they don't see beyond the persona of Hulk Hogan, right? They don't see the fact that he's blending his characters. Like he is Terry Bollea is Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan is Terry Bollea. They're not separate people. They see him and they think only what he's done for the wrestling industry in itself, and that it should overshadow everything. And we're just saying, like, no, it doesn't overshadow everything. Unfortunately, what he's done or who he is as a person kind of undermines all of his accomplishments as an
Yeah.
icon and a pioneer in the wrestling industry. You know what I mean? Black white wrestlers alike. Yes, he's done a lot for the wrestling industry, but half of the industry he hated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Half of the industry he hated. He wanted to keep down. That was the thing. He was a very selfish person. And that's partially why like he is in the position he was at for so long. He kept everything for himself. He kept everybody away. And that's what led him to the stardom that he eventually gained. Now you can debate on whether that's like, oh, like did he deserve all the scrutiny and stuff like that? I don't know. But it's like he did it to himself. Like he alienated himself essentially. Where nobody, I mean, obviously there's some certain groups of people who wanted to associate with himself, but the large majority did not want to associate with Hulk Hogan.
I can
At
believe
least from like outside of wrestling. Maybe in wrestling it's a different story. But outside of wrestling, there was a large amount of people who didn't want to associate it. Maybe like, well, I don't know. That's going into like business stuff. Like maybe
Well-
Hulk Hogan's a more marketable name.
Well, you know, in the eyes of Vince McMahon, you know, I really believe that Vince only saw dollars when he looked at Hulk. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
think, and I think that's just part of Vince's personality. Like Vince doesn't think beyond WWE. You know what I mean?
Oh
Beyond
yeah.
WWE. And everything that he did, I feel like every person that he's brought back, every person that, speaking of, you know, like how Brock Lesnar just came back in
Mhm.
spite of all this madness going on.
Yeah.
I feel like Vince only saw that Hogan was worth like whatever dollars amounts, in spite of all of the backstage politics and the union busting and everything in between.
Well,
as
he
long
had to, because there was, considering what Hogan did to him, literally left him and joined the rival promotion, almost put him out of business.
that is true.
So like you kind of have to, from Vince's perspective, you kind of have to look at him as just a dollar figure, because he essentially betrayed him. He went to a rival promotion at the
Yeah.
height of his popularity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But I mean, like, in a sense that he can't see, like, almost like you can't see the forest for the trees. You know what I mean? Like, you only
yeah.
think about Hogan in the sense that he brings me dollars, as opposed to, yeah, he brings me dollars, but look at all this like, think about this for a second, right?
Yeah.
What happened the last time Hogan was seen in the public
Oh.
eye.
He got booed out the building.
Got booed out of the building, bro.
It was
But
funny. It was hilarious.
whose idea was it to bring him back for this anyway? Now, obviously, it wasn't Vince.
It wasn't
you know.
Vince. It was no, that goes into a whole different conversation regarding like TKO and stuff like that. They're probably thinking the same thing. They see Hogan, they see dollar signs. So,
But it's kind of tone deaf because it's like, yeah, he's gonna bring you dollars, but he just got booed out of the building.
well, in fairness, there was talk that he was supposed to be brought in for one of the Saturday night's main events, and they nixed those plans after that whole fiasco with him getting booed.
But also
So-
wasn't it because of the pending surgery.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. That could have been it too. I don't know. But I just know that they nixed those plans right after that happened. But they do still have his Real American beer on the mat as an advertisement. So I don't know.
Going nowhere. That is
I
not
mean, well,
fair.
that's
That's
you know, they have
powerful.
contracts. I mean, that's contracts and stuff. They have to do that. So
But I just look, the legacy of Hulk Hogan is very, very complicated. It's not cut and dry. It's not
No.
black and white. Yes, he is a wrestling icon. He's an American icon. He's a sports icon. He's one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. And he is. You cannot tell the story of WWE without him. You cannot tell the story of professional wrestling without him. But on the flip side, we can also say that he was a terrible human being, and I won't miss him. You know what I mean?
No.
I certainly won't. I feel like most people won't, especially outside of his family. I mean, the Iron Sheik was probably licking his chops.
Yo, Iron Sheik was #1 Hogan hater.
Yeah.
Like till his death, like every day he was talking shit about Hulk Hogan.
Can you imagine if Hogan died before Iron Sheik?
Yo. I mean, Iron Sheik died like 20 years ago? So maybe not 20 years ago. Maybe like
No.
10. Maybe like 10. Yeah. But still.
When did Iron Sheik die? I didn't say Iron Sheik. I said, when did Iron Sheik die? Here's an answer for. Oh my God.
Yo, I hate Siri for that. Like every time, I mean, granted, I don't have an iPhone, but like every time I've had to use,
Bro,
huh?
he died 2 years ago.
2 years ago? No fucking way.
He died on June 7th, 2023.
Are you serious?
Look at it.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
If he just held on just a little bit longer,
Damn. Only 2 years, man.
his spirit's probably looking right behind him and seeing Hulk Hogan and just made a beeline for him.
Yo, he's probably in Hogan. He probably got Hogan in the Cobra Clutch right now.
Bro. And the rest of the apes just laughing at him like, look at him go, look at him go, look at him go. Anywho, that's terrible. That's a terrible joke.
Yeah. One last thing I do want to bring up, because this was actually like kind of recent too. So the whole sex tape thing was, he was basically caught on film with you know who Bubba the Love Sponge is? It was his friend. I'm assuming he had something to do with wrestling. I'm not entirely sure. What?
He was caught on tape with Bubba the Love
No.
Sponge.
His wife.
Oh,
I was like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? No. That would have been the whole different thing. No, so yeah, he was caught with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Apparently, Bubba asked him to do that. I don't know why. That's a whole different conversation. Anyway,
So it's okay.
yeah. But he has a radio show or maybe like a podcast or something like that. He still does, Bubba. And after he died, or after Hogan died, Brooke Hogan actually called in to the podcast or the show or whatever to talk about everything that happened. And Bubba admitted, he basically told Brooke. So there's a reason why, because you mentioned Brooke was, she was a singer, she was doing all this stuff. Bubba admitted that Hogan was the reason why Brooke's singing career was cut short. Yeah. Because Brooke received a letter from, quote unquote, her label saying that they didn't want to move forward with her. When in reality, it was Hogan who sent that letter to stop her from pursuing her singing career. Because he didn't want her to, he didn't want her to do that. And then he went to the label and said, Brooke doesn't want to do this anymore. And then told the label to give him money to fund, this is the most ridiculous part. Give him money to fund, the Big Show.
Paul White, the Big Show.
Paul White, the Big Show, to fund his boxing career. So he wanted the money that they would have given to Brooke to go to Paul White for him to box. And they did it, but he was training to be a boxer, and literally his first sparring match, he got knocked the fuck out. And he was like, no, this is not for me. And he backed out. So yeah, Hulk Hogan.
This y'all's hero.
This great guy.
Real American. Man undercuts his own daughter's music career.
Yeah.
And apparently she didn't go to the funeral, right?
Oh no, she didn't. So apparently it wasn't like out of malice. According to her, she said it was, he didn't want a funeral. That he didn't want to, what? Yeah, he was cremated, yeah. So according to her, she said that he never wanted all this stuff and stuff like that. So she was respecting his wishes. I don't know how true that is. Maybe that's just an excuse. But considering all that's happened between him and her, I don't know. Maybe she just didn't want to be around the people that were associated with him because they're all scumbags.
Cap. I'm calling cap. It's gotta be cap. I don't use that phrase at all, but cap. Cap. Stop the cap.
I mean, that's just what she says. Who knows?
Flying through her teeth. You ain't got a lot of us. For what? We know your father was a dirtbag. Just say it. You can say now he's dead.
I maybe she just didn't want the backlash because apparently she wants to get back into like music. So
I mean, she's a grown woman. She always could.
Well, she was estranged like recently. Hulk Hogan never met her daughter or son or child. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, he never met his grandchild from her. Yeah, so I don't. It's
you really
very.
think Hulk Hogan only has 2 children?
I mean, he probably has some
side babies. Yes,
some bastard children all over the world.
Listen, man. Remember, he was his peak was during a time condoms were not invented. Condoms weren't invented yet. Condoms were invented, 1980 something, to combat HIV/AIDS?
That is true. It's actually it's kind of a miracle that he never contracted anything. But
pretty sure he did at some point. But
I mean, maybe, yeah.
And shit, Magic Johnson could get AIDS, so could HIV, so could what's his name, Hulk Hogan. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But
overall,
the man was a scumbag. You see what he did to his own daughter. Like, And what's crazy was during their reality show when she was just starting her music career, he was fully supportive of it. I think he negotiated on her behalf or something like that, or I think he was her manager slash agent or something to that effect. And he actually wound up negotiating some sort of deal for her. You know, if I recall correctly, it's been such a long time, and the show's been off the air for decades.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, just goes to show, like like I said, he was always in working mode, always working everybody. You can never know when Hogan was telling the truth, and that's ultimately
good.
his downfall.
What are your final words about Hulk Hogan to wrap this up?
Final words. While he will be always remembered for his wrestling contributions, fuck him. That's honestly like, there's not much to say.
I have nothing to add to that. Yeah, you will be
That's
no.
that's
Yeah,
that's pretty
I
much
could.
it.
I could not have said it any better. Yeah, you're known for your wrestling contributions, but fuck you, dude. You're a piece of shit.
I do want to commend the New Day for not showing up on his 10 bell salute, and Rhea Ripley.
There were a few
So
others in, right? Do you
I'm
think?
sure there was a few more, but those were the most notable ones.
Do you think Triple H came to like have a locker room meeting or like a whatchamacallit, like a round table and said, look, we're gonna do a 10 bell salute because he still means a lot to the company and he is a pioneer in the industry. But if you don't want to stand on the stage during the 10 bell salute, you will not be penalized. You think he did that?
Probably. Probably. I mean, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't do that.
I mean, yeah, Triple H seems, excuse me, edit that out. Triple H does seem a lot more open and level-headed than Vince does or
Yeah.
did. So
Yeah.
I can imagine him doing that. But yes, shout out to those brothers for standing on business and not saluting. Because I didn't even watch SmackDown that night when
Yeah.
after I didn't even watch. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
What is a little annoying is that they freaking stretched it out. They did it on SmackDown, they did it on Raw, they did it on NXT, and then I think they did it like they aired like a tribute on the network, not the network, on Peacock or something like that. They kind of went all out, mostly probably because, like we said, they see dollar signs, get people to subscribe, then watch. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but you know what? The funny thing is the reaction to Hogan's death, and I know we're gonna wrap this up, but the reaction really wasn't as overwhelming as you would have thought that it should have been for someone whose a star power is like a Hulk Hogan. You know, like you can
yeah,
think few celebrity deaths where the reaction was just like, whoa, like this one hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think that's probably because of everything that happened. Like
no,
if
it is.
yeah,
It's because of that. And it was just like, okay, Hulk Hogan died. Bye. Instead of, yo, Hulk
oh
Hogan died.
yeah,
Damn.
and it is crazy to think, like, had that not gotten out, we would have reacted that way. Similar to like when Michael Jackson died. Everybody was just like,
Oh,
yo, what the fuck? Like,
it also didn't help that Michael Jackson was still kind of young. Like Michael was only 50.
relatively, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, and his death was just random. Like nobody knew them. In fact, Michael was
He
preparing
was
for
gonna
another,
do a tour, yeah.
and he just died out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Or like Kobe Bryant, just on his way to his daughter's practice
Yeah.
and dies in a helicopter crash. Or who else died that year? Chadwick Boseman. Nobody
Oh
knew he.
yeah. Hmm.
And then next thing you know, we hear that Chadwick Boseman is dead. It's like, yo, what?
What?
Hope
Yeah.
should have been like that. Where it's like, yo, we really lost an American icon. But it's just like, Hulk Hogan's died. So what?
And it's like,
Fuck,
yeah, okay. I mean,
fuck him. Like you said, fuck.
fuck him.
Listen, we can leave it there because you said it perfectly. All right, say it again for the people.
He's made a lot of contributions to wrestling, and he will be remembered always for that. But fuck him.
Take us out, producer.
If you want to follow us on our socials, which I think it's Instagram and TikTok, right? We don't got Facebook no more. You can check us out. If you're watching on YouTube, you can check it on the bottom of the screen. You can also, if you are watching on YouTube, you can like and subscribe because that will help us out a lot too. If you're listening to us on a podcast, share us, rate us, do all that nice stuff because that will, all that good stuff. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So we out.
We'll be back
Peace.
soon.
We'll be back soon. Brother Tay hopefully will be with us. And yeah, peace.